Well, my name's Dave Telford. I've taught geometry here at Stanwood High School mostly for like the last 8 years and almost exclusively. But I was teaching Algebra I and geometry prior to that here. But it got to the point where there weren't a lot of us that enjoyed teaching geometry. And so it was like, dude, I really like it. So they gave me like all 5 periods of, but I'm back into Algebra One this year. And so it's kind of I got into my like comfort zone with geometry, and now I'm kind of feeling a little bit out of it. But yeah, the EduProtocols journey, this has been great. Um, I've kind of got some things kind of like going. We're a school that's got about, I think, 1,600 kids this year, and we're continuing to get a little bit bigger as we go. Um, but we're seeing some really good things. So let's go ahead and just keep flipping through here. You'll see
Oh,
this
here's
next
a
little
good thing
slide.
to see.
There's our guy right there. There's Jon Corippo. That's when I first met Jon back in 1986. And you would never know that he was a fearsome nose guard. Uh, at all, what, 5'7", 165 pounds?
5'6", 159.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because when you're this small, those pounds matter.
Yeah, for sure. And it was like, we used to like try to get like the big guys to go off the bus first when you're like on a travel trip, to kind of intimidate guys. Jon wasn't one of the first guys off of the bus. Kind of
That's
Jon
actually a
just kind
funny
of like
story. You may
straggled
not
along.
know, Dave. You know what the last thing I saw before we went out to games was we were in the weight room, and the last thing I saw before going to the game was how tall I was compared to all the other linemen,
All right.
how short. So it just reinforced that for me. So I was like bussing myself.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, man, knowing Jon Corippo here, man, it's been huge. And Jon, you go ahead and say this. I sent Jon this text during the summer, or actually at the end of the summer, at the beginning of the school year.
Yeah. And so Dave dropped me a line and said, "Hey, I'm watching a podcast about you." Dave and I have not talked at that point for maybe 37 years. There's probably teachers in the room younger than Dave and I's relationship. And so then I got this text from him in October, and I'm actually going to make it bigger right now. "Okay, are you ready for a not so soft flex? 2 periods of Algebra 1, okay, total of 50 students just passed their quiz on solving equations, which, if you're not a math student, solving equations is not the most exciting thing ever. Average score of 96.25, you guys, over 2 periods. And I love the way you specify this, Dave. That's no extra credit and being required to show the reps. So I just wanted to share this part. This is where Dave is on his journey right now. He is only roughly 4 months into it and already seeing huge results. So I'm going to kick it back to you now, Dave.
You got it. So, like typical classroom, right? I mean, you look at this board, we got all this wonderful math on it, and it's like it says, I mean, how can kids not find that riveting? I mean, I look at that and it's just like, oh my God, it's just so inspirational. But oh my God, for kids, it's just so boring. Um, and it's such a typical deal. And so what's my vision? My vision is here I am, right? I'm this guy that's standing up here and I got all these kids. They want to answer every question. They're so into it. I'm Robin Williams in Dead Poet Society, and everybody thinks that I'm so wonderful as we're lecturing and doing all this fun stuff. And that is not the reality. The reality is right there. Dude, man, your lecture is so interesting. Keep going, and there's drool on the tables and there's like everything else going on. And so then we do these wonderful like activities, and you get to go around the classroom and you get to help kids. And the whole time you're helping a kid, everybody else is doing their own thing. Nobody's paying attention. You're helping one kid at a time. You're getting absolutely nothing done of any kind of volume. And that's been my typical classroom, and it's always frustrated the heck out of me and driven me like totally crazy that like, oh my God, why are these kids not engaged? Why are they not doing this? Oh my God, just do your work, just do your work, just do this, just do that. But then this is the reality. Hey, here's another worksheet, dude. Have fun, and I'll get back to you when I get to the bottom of this pile. Right? Kids get no feedback. They get nothing. No wonder it's so boring. I mean, uh, you don't ever find out truly how you're doing up until a week after the heck you've done anything. And now it's test day and you
Yeah.
have a chance to make any kind of a correction with anything that you've learned.
I saw a great blog post, Dave. It talked about the idea of practicing with no feedback. And how long would you practice shooting baskets if every time you shot the ball, it just disappeared? And then a week later, they would tell you you got 20% in the hoop. Not that exciting. So it's not just a school problem, it's just the way people are built, right? So people crave that feedback, and you can apply the same thing to piano. Imagine you're playing piano or guitar and you can hear the music 2 days later. How long till that's not that much fun?
Not long at all.
Not long
And,
at all.
you take it back to football, right? I mean, I coached football forever. And if I didn't give kids immediate feedback on the field during practice of, hey, that rep wasn't good. You need to do this, you need to do that. Let's try it one more time. We would have wasted 3 hours of time out on the field and had got absolutely nothing out of it. We'd have just reinforced bad habits the entire time. So as I'm going through my little journey here as my old self in the classroom, I'm starting thinking, I'm like, wow, I wonder if like we increased engagement, if that would actually make a difference, right? Which
That's
is
crazy.
so silly to ask. And then
Oh my
here, this
gosh,
is,
you're working in bake.
yeah. So this dude right here, Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker, I've got him in this slide for a couple particular reasons. He's one of the most genuine, awesome, nice people that
Yeah.
you could ever meet. Most so unassuming, such a great athlete, such a talent, played in the NFL, and just the nicest person that cares about everybody. But here's what the deal is with Stephen Baker and why he's really a part of this. He's why I got back in touch with Jon Corippo, because I'm sitting there and I'm flipping through Facebook and something came up and a post with Stephen Baker on it. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't talked about Stephen Baker forever. And I go on there and I look through the comments and I see Jon Corippo's name and I'm like, Jon Corippo, oh my God, I haven't talked to that guy for 35 years. And so I tracked him down, found his name, and I saw on his profile that it said EduProtocols. And I was like, no, stop. Jon Corippo. That's got to be the wrong Jon Corippo because he's not in education. He and I were
I'm not
both
smart
business
like that.
students at Fresno State. We were in the School of Business. We weren't in education. And then I come to find out when I track him down that his journey was somewhat similar to mine, where he kind of dabbled around in some other things and then found his way into education as a second career. And that's kind of what I did also. And then we got in touch, and it's like been all the difference in the world that led me to figuring out and finding out. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? This EduProtocols thing. Tell me what's going on. And I got to start watching a little bit of his stuff that's online. And I was like, wow, this is like the coolest thing ever. And then Jon tried to walk me through some stuff, and I'm a slow learner. So he's talking fast, like he's telling me I'm supposed to talk. And I'm like, dude, you got to slow down because I got to absorb stuff, you know. But that's what led to this summer, and this summer has changed my outlook and everything about what I do teaching wise. It's been that like 3 day turnaround, really changed everything about what I'm doing in the classroom right now, and it's changed it so much for the better. So much for the better. Some of the kids that I'm teaching don't realize that because they never had me as a teacher prior to. And so they
Yeah,
just
they
see
don't know the bad,
this is
Dave.
how I am. But they appreciate the fact that they are performing better than they have ever performed for the majority of these kids in a math classroom. It's really exciting to see them have success and enjoy themselves, and to see, oh my God, those of us that teach math, right? Every kid, oh, I can't do math. I can't do math. I'm just not a math person. Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't care, right? Well, those are all just like defense mechanisms for them. But when they got those quizzes back and our class average was 96% plus, every kid's chest swelled. Every kid, as they got their paper back, got a smile on their face. And I stopped and I said, and you tell me that it doesn't matter. It matters. You got that warm, fuzzy feeling sitting inside of you now that you haven't had for a long time in a math classroom. And they agree. They agree. And so it's been so cool. And then that takes us to this next little slide here, Jon, which is these are the EduProtocols that I'm currently using. I'm using Fast and Curious, the math reps. I'm using Sketch and Tell, and I'm employing all of it as I can with Snorkel to get the feedback. Our focus today is going to be more in the math reps area of this with what we're doing.
And I'd like to point out for any math teachers watching, Dave's really getting these results with mostly 3 protocols. You know, there are 100 protocols. There's probably infinite permutations, but if you're teaching English, 3 or 4 is mostly what you need. If you're teaching math, 3 or 4 is going to get most of what's going on. Virginia asks in the chat, Dave, what are some of your favorite math reps that you use?
That's hard to say because I build my own. I haven't. This is one thing that I should do more of, and it's going to come up here in a little bit, is I should lean more on, at least I believe I should, on like the pre-built ones that Math Reps already has. But I'm kind of apprehensive a little bit about it because this is still taking me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so I kind of build my own to.
That's actually the ideal, in my opinion.
But I'm not hitting.
Once you own it,
I'm not hitting as many standards as a math rep would, as a pre-made math rep would hit.
Okay.
And I need to, you know what I'm saying? I need
to
increase that so that kids aren't just focusing on one thing, but they're seeing the big picture and how everything fits together.
So if anybody's new to math reps, the idea is this, and again, I'm going to make it accessible. The idea is I don't do a week of division and then a week of multiplication and then a week of addition and then a week of a subtraction. I'm going to do all 4 of those all the time, which means right away I've gone from 1 week of practice on each one to 4 weeks of practice. But I'm also seeing how they connect. I'm seeing that division is just the opposite of multiplication. And once the kids see those patterns, their math skill and their math perspective changes a lot. It's a really big shift. And Dave, I'm hoping that you can share the link to the ones you've been building. If it's not in the slides, if you can share that at the end, that would be great.
I might have to do that at a later time because they're like all over the place. They're not very well organized.
No worries.
I'm a pile organizer, you know what I mean? I don't put things in nice, tidy.
Yeah, I'm a doom piler too. My wife's in here, she'll comment on that.
So yeah. But I will do what I can. I just go in and throw them together and make them on a Google slide real quick and then just screenshot it and drop it into, and use whatever I need. So, but this is like an after picture. This is what my classroom is now. Kids are they're on their technologies. And while I'm helping a kid, other kids are still working. They're not just like messing around. They're not doing things because of using the EduProtocols that are more engaging for them, number one. And also the fact that Snorkel, when you incorporate Snorkel, gives them all individual feedback. And so it ends up working as if I have basically with 30 kids in my classroom, I've got myself and 30 teacher assistants that are like sitting in the classroom helping every kid as the period's passing on. And so it gives them so much opportunity to get better in a short period of time.
Okay, here we go. Time for some data. Drum roll, please.
Yeah, Jon, what was it? What was your quote about like a new idea is like doesn't mean anything until there's data to back it up, right?
Oh, yeah. That one is, I guess, from some administrator friends, and it says, every teacher has a story without data. So until there's data, people will say things like, that's not the way I learned it. That's not my style. I prefer. And when you start looking at the data, what you have to end up saying is, so do you prefer no growth? Because your style is not matching up with your results. And so the data is the differentiator, because now you can say, I'm not really worried about your style. I'm worried about your results. And Dave, you guys, you may not know this, but Dave was a D1 and D2 football coach for 20 years. In football, all we care about is results. We don't care about style points. If it looks weird, but it works, we do it. We are a slave to results. So Dave, tell us about your chart here a little bit. I'm guessing this is last year.
Actually, the bars on the left, the little orange, yellow, mustard colored ones, those are from the last time I taught Algebra I in 2017. And these are a comparison of the first 5 quizzes that we gave in 2017 versus 2025 this year.
So it
And
looks like you're seeing, gosh, a little over 20 points of growth here.
the 2017 was consistently somewhere in the high 70s to low 80s.
Oh
And
yeah,
and
I'm seeing a pattern.
We have not yet this year been below like 85 on any
Yeah.
of our first 5 quizzes.
And Dave, I
It's
know this
just
is your first year on this. What's crazy is second semester, this will accelerate because you're building a trust base, you're building a practice base, and you're building a skills base that you can completely leverage second semester. Like it'll blow your mind second semester.
yeah. And when I show the kids this is where they get like, okay, they still want to act like too cool for school. You know what I'm saying? They still don't want to act like it matters that much, but they truly understand, hey, you know what? I haven't had people perform at this level. What we're doing is working. You know,
Right.
I talked to them the other day about why the Kansas City Chiefs are so special, because it's so hard to repeat as a champion, because as soon as you
Mhm.
get good, everybody's patting you on the back, they're throwing a parade for you, they're telling you how wonderful you are, and
It's
you're
hard to stay
starting to
hungry.
believe it. And the next thing you know, you're not working in the off season like you did last off season, and what you did last off season is why you are being really good now. And so I'm just
Actually,
meeting with
Dave,
them, dude.
my wife in the chat just said it's because of Taylor Swift. So I don't
There you
know.
go too. Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know
but
how that
she wasn't,
factors in.
so she's got to stay, because when she
Yeah,
wasn't there, they
they got to
weren't.
get
Yeah.
married and have babies now.
But you can't forget
Seth,
how you got there. That's the big
Seth
thing.
in the chat has a great comment. You're going to love Dave. This is going to make your whole day. He says, yes, about patterns and getting kids to appreciate they exist outside of the math classroom is important. Patterns are similar to repetition because they help make things easier. And they don't have to be math teachers in order to benefit from learning about the benefits of logic and numbers. Very well said, Seth.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I'm gonna give you the contrast on this. Think of what do language arts teachers love? They love kids reading novels. That's what they love, right? But if kids only read novels in class, we are failing. We've got to make sure that we're teaching in such a manner that when we pull the classroom away, the kids choose to read for information. And it's very similar in math. And Virginia, we're going to make a snorkel from scratch in just a minute. So Dave, what's next on our thing here?
It looks like we're heading towards the putting together and the talking about. We already mentioned about how the math reps and the snorkel gives me the ability to have 30 teaching assistants in the classroom every
And I love this.
day.
I've experienced the same thing. I will say things, kids will say to me, I don't know how to do 14. And I'll go, ask Marco. I just saw him nail it. And it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll go back to like those quiz scores and whatnot. That's 2 classes combined there that you're seeing. And in
Oh,
one
the
of those
data.
classes, I have a third of the kids that are on IEPs and 504s. And
And
they're
we're still
still
getting these kind of
performing
results.
at that
Yeah.
level. And I'm not having
Well,
to like go in and give them assignments that are lesser assignments.
right.
They have
It's still a
but they
football
have
thing.
entry points that they're okay to like fail at and then learn from. And just because they're starting at a lower point doesn't mean that they're not finishing at a high point.
Right. Right. So you're not limiting equitable access, and you're building a base for Algebra 2.
I'm not lowering the bar at all.
Yeah.
I'm just
That's
meeting
awesome.
them. I'm meeting them where they're at and giving them the opportunity to, and then they're taking it and running with it and succeeding. So it's
Okay.
really huge.
All right. So Dave, what we've got here is what we would call a stock math rep. It's right out of the box, ready to go. What's your take on this?
So I picked this and then the next slide, because the next slide is one that I made and it's covering the same type of information. This is all about like equations for lines and graphing them with pretty much an emphasis on point slope form of a line. So if you get 2 points, you can figure slope. And as you can see from the math reps template, the one that they've created, you can see all of the different pieces that that we're hitting, all the different
I'm going to make
standards
it
that are
bigger
getting
for
hit in here,
readability.
right?
But
We're doing
normally we might do slope intercept might be a week, followed by standard form might be a week, followed by point slope might be a week, followed by x-intercept might be a week. And we're retaking that. We're taking that same amount of time and we're doing 5 standards a day instead of 20 questions, and I'm just going to give you guys a visual here. Normally you'll get 20 of these for a week, and then you get 20 of these for a week, and then 20 of these for a week. And you're not seeing the interrelation of how they all work together. And so what Dave can do is he can do one of these a day, but we're doing 5 or 6 standards at once.
right now. I'll be honest with you. I'm not doing anything as well as they're doing on that math rep, because you can see I've got it broken down, and that's what they're doing is they're doing standard form of an equation here.
Right.
They don't have it mixed in with point slope. They don't have it mixed in with, and that's something that I need to get better at, that here in year
I'm
one,
I'm gonna give you a
kind of
trick,
making
Dave.
that transition.
Watch this. And Virginia, I think you'll like this too. I still give kids the full load, even if we're not going to do it. So watch this. This is what I do, Dave. I'll do this right here. This is going to save you a lot of build time. If I think something is too much for my class, I just do this right here.
Gotcha.
And I say, let's do this one, this one, this one, this one. And they'll say, what about the other 2? And I'll say, no, bingo those out. We'll do that. I will add that one next week. And what I like about that is in the repetition thing, all that happens for the kids is next week, once they've gotten these, now I'm going to add, I'm going to +1 this one. And then the next week, I will +1 to this one. And pretty soon they're doing the whole thing, but they're seeing the whole thing the whole time.
Okay.
So that's one little technique I use is I just bingo it out. Like when you go to bingo and they say cross out E2 and I4, I just do a little bingo card. But
Okay.
I do like what you're doing in terms of you're giving yourself training wheels. You're saying, I like the concept. I'm going to make it easier for me.
Yeah. And I'm trying to it's, I'm still stuck in the whole, we're going to test this part, and then we're going to quiz this part, and then we're going to quiz this part, instead of looking at it holistically and then quizzing the whole thing. And so I'm still stuck in the in between. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
out here in purgatory. I haven't quite made it yet. But
so if you guys are new to snorkel, though, here's one example that Dave has made. Now watch this. This is crazy. This is the real-time feedback part, you guys. And Dave, I'm going to do a little graphics magic right now while you introduce this.
Okay, so I built this slide just by going to a Google slide and putting shapes in, and then dropping in a text box, and then screenshotting it and turning it into a snorkel assignment, dropping it into snorkel if you've which is also very easy, because you can just drop it in as a screenshot, and then the AI figures out a rubric for you and does all that stuff. And so then, like Jon was saying last session, that they get feedback, but that doesn't eliminate me as the teacher also giving them feedback. I'm still their teacher, but they're getting immediacy of some sort of feedback on how they're doing when I can't be in all 30 chairs.
And I'm going to do an upgrade to this. If you have second language learners, it'll handle up to 50 languages as well, you guys.
Yeah, I have a kid that speaks Thai, and it's like,
yeah,
and everything it does it'll give him verbal feedback in Thai, and it gives him the written feedback in Thai also, which is huge, because he is very, very much struggling. And it breaks my heart to watch him, because he has such a language barrier, but this has been so huge for him to be able to get rid of that, because I can't learn Thai. I'm not going to learn Thai fast enough to be able to help him. And the district's not going to pay for a one-on-one for him.
Yeah. And Scott, that's in the group right now, Dave, you'll love this. He actually had a kid who was literally 7 hours in the country.
Oh, wow.
Drops into his class, picks off the snorkel link, even though he doesn't speak any English, gets the first perfect score in his math class and is instantly a phenom to the other kids.
That's
There's a
awesome.
lot of SEL going on there, right?
Yes, there is.
That dude showed up. He knew how to switch the language. He got feedback in his home language. Bro is 7 hours in the country, doesn't speak the language, rocks the whole class. So here's another example. You want to walk us through this one, Dave? I like how they added the pictures.
Yeah. So they did work on whiteboards, and then they used the camera on their Chromebook to just like shoot a screenshot and then drop it in. So they didn't have to deal with any of the typing or any of the pin that's built into or the keypad, which is so tough to be legible. And then that like causes kids to not want to use it because they're like, oh my God, this is such a struggle. But when they can do this and they just drop it in, it's like it's awesome. So they show every step of everything that they're doing. They've broken this down into the two equations that would be represented in order to be able to calculate what the x-intercept and the y-intercept are, and they show every step of their work. And Snorkel gives them all of this wonderful feedback. Not only does it give them a score of 1 to 4, but it also it tells them how they did on each. The first two feedbacks are telling them all of the good things that they did, and then if there's some corrections to make, that's the third feedback that says, hey, what about this? What do you think about that? Maybe you should consider this. And
I just love the way you're using the paper on this, Dave, because you can do so many things with this. You could do this in science. They could draw a diagram. They could do things in art. And the Snorkel is actually giving kids feedback on something they just screenshotted and zapped into their assignment.
yeah, and it allows them to be creative. Yep, it's for sure.
Here's another one. And this
they don't
is a
have to be
slate,
pretty.
Right? Yeah, no. Look at
Nothing has to be pretty.
eyeball
It just has
peeking
to
out
be.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when I teach my geometry, they're all like, but my picture doesn't look good. I'm like, hey, dude, you know what? Your picture doesn't matter. It's how you label your picture that matters. It's the facts that you put on there that matter. It's not that your square is a square. It's that you've got the picture saying that it is, you've got all the details. And so this is just the feedback that these kids are getting. It's just, and when they get 4 out of 4, oh my God, they're like, I got 4. I got 4.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the thing is with Snorkel is, you guys know AI is perfect. And sometimes you have to nudge the rubric a little bit. And sometimes if you'll look really carefully here, you guys, on the picture here, there's a little down arrow that the teacher has. The teacher can always up or downgrade. So and let's say, Dave, that one of your IEP kids is busting their butt. They've done 4 repetitions. It's still not a perfect score. All I got to do is quietly pull that little thing down to 4 out of 4 and say, check again. And they're like, yeah, because the AI is a screener. The AI is not, I'm the final arbiter of the grades. I tell you as a human how you're doing in my class. But the kids, when they dig in and they do 3, 4, 5 repetitions, they are so gratified when they pass. And that's another good one, Scott. Thanks for pointing this out. I just heard this the other day too, Dave. I think it was Tuesday. A teacher said that they do 3 to pass, 4 for extra points.
Yeah,
let's go.
When I put these in the grade book, they go in out of 3. And if you get a 4, you get the 4 out of 3.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Victoria, This should be blowing your mind. Or Virginia. And wait till you see this. Virginia said in the chat, Dave, I'm changing my lesson plans for Monday. But there's more coming. So here we go.
Yeah. So this is the routine now in my classroom. They get engaged with the EduProtocols. They're engaged. They get feedback. Then they get to get challenged with the feedback that they get from Snorkel, because it's either good enough or it's not. And then it's repeat, man. We get back in and we get engaged again. We get more feedback and get challenged again to a different level. If you're getting a 1, then your challenge is to get a 2. And if you're getting a 2, your challenge is to get a 3. And if you're getting a 3, your challenge is to now show that you not only have like that you're at standard, but that you can go to mastery. And I mean, it's just, and then the key thing is like I added on the right, celebrate success, man. They love that. Stand up, give yourselves a round of applause. I mean, when I'd let them know, because the last quiz that we took, I think, which was not one of the ones that I had on my chart, I believe we were somewhere around 94, 95 or something like that again. And I told him, and I said, and that's with one kid in this classroom that chose to take a 0. I'm like,
That was the crowd response.
you guys should be so proud of that number because
Yeah,
one person just said, hey, you know what? I'm not even going to answer any questions. But we were still mid 90s. That's huge.
that's huge. Okay, so now we're going to go hands-on a little bit, you guys, and I'm going to be cooking here. So if I take a second to answer your questions in the chat, just bear with me. So Dave, I'm going to do this, and you can help me.
Okay.
So we've been talking about math reps, you guys. First of all, you can go to math reps, and I'm going to be honest, Dave. I need your stuff. We need more for Algebra 1 and 2.
Okay.
We need more. So
Okay.
as you're making those, share those so we can add them.
Okay.
But there's enough in there to give people an idea. And I'm going to just show this one off as a non-math first teacher. I love this one that's already in there. And it'll give you guys an idea of what this looks like. So the daily number, here we go. Let's say the number is 74, and the kids have a quick checklist. Is it prime? Is it a perfect square? Is it a cube? We do 10% of the number, 20% of the number. We plug it in to this equation. We create an equivalent expression. We evaluate and simplify using plugging in the x. We do a square root. We do a different expression. This one is a little different. The opposite is the multiplicative, inverse is, the reciprocal is. We're doing integer factors. You guys look at all that work. And Dave, what are we doing tomorrow? Same thing.
Same thing.
Different
number, same thing.
And this is the bingo thing, Dave. I might just say, don't do this one today. It's okay. If that's too much, I'll add that in 2 days. So we're going to do a live snorkel right here, but I realize that exceeds some people's math fun level, especially on a Saturday morning. So I'm going to go down, Dave. Watch this. I'm going to blow your mind. I'm going to go to 2nd grade. I gave this one to my 6th graders. Ooh, I forgot. It's the new slides. Hold on. I got to make sure I know where this one is. Lisa went through and updated all of these, and I think it's coming up right here. Virginia, this is going to blow your mind. I mean, absolutely blow your mind. So here we go, you guys. I'm just going to take a snip if you're on a PC or screenshot if you're on a Mac. I'm going to go like this. And this is a 2nd grade standard, Dave. I gave this one to my 6th graders, and they almost started crying. And they were literally saying, how are we supposed to know this? Nobody ever taught us this. I go, bro, this is 2nd grade. So now watch this. I go over to Snorkel, and Scott shared this in the app. Snorkel, you can sign in for free and get 20 lessons. Okay, so I'm going to log in. It's very affordable price-wise if you need to buy it. If you go to find an activity in Snorkel, look at this. It's got math, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, lots of these. But if you scroll down, check this out. There's math reps in there pre-built. Now, bad news for you, Dave, is it only goes up to 4th grade, but they're adding 1 grade level at about a month pace. Okay, so this is where the pre-built stuff is. But just for you, Virginia, because you're such a good question asker, watch how quick this is. Create an activity. Ready? Boom. Okay. And I'm going to go with geometry. I'm going to go geometry facts. And you know one thing I'm learning, Dave? I've been telling people that I'm a shy typer, and more people are admitting they too are shy typers.
Okay.
So my error rate goes up when I'm typing publicly. Okay.
So
now
hold on here just 1 second. Let me
yeah.
One thing that if you are using Snorkel, because it will store your assignments or your templates that you have made, one of the things that I've started to do is to like list them with the date that I make them on, so that then I can say, oh yeah, I have a kid come back and say, hey, I wasn't here on Tuesday. And I don't have to sort through and try to figure out which one was Tuesday. It's on, I have that date as part of my title.
Great little trick. Okay, so you guys have choices here. You can do a whiteboard recording. And in a whiteboard recording, which is my favorite type, students have to talk, have to type, have to draw. And if you're a math teacher that's worried about photo math or Chat GPT, and the very least, even if the kid is copying down what Chat GPT did on paper, I am forcing them to say it and explain their thinking. I'm forcing them to model it. And you can say students will use 10 frames, students will use a number line to model their thinking. There's whiteboard only, which is great for some situations, but gosh darn it, I love kids talking. Speaking of which, if you're a language arts teacher, there's audio only. Dave, imagine this. They have to read the formula and answer verbally. That's wild. If you're a language arts teacher, you have to read the text and then answer what's the beginning, middle, and end. You have to answer 3 facts about the protagonist, and it's going to give you fluency feedback. And then there's a writing only version, which is really cool, but I'm not going to talk about that one too much right now because that one, it's good, but it's not as utilitarian as the other. So I'm going to pick this guy right here. And this is the part that's going to blow your mind, Virginia. Watch this. Ready? Remember I did that snip? My assignment's ready, Virginia. It's that fast. My assignment's ready. Now, one other thing you guys here is, and Dave, I don't know if you've even tried this one. See, manipulative. You can make things draggable. So Dave, imagine you could go like this, put in a number line. Okay. Mine's crooked. I know it, Dave. You don't have to pick on me like that.
Yeah.
And then you could put in different numbers. -4. -0.6. Whoops, I got to do that. -0.6. And then by clicking on manipulative, Dave, you can make that a draggable for kids. So when they log in, they can drag things around. It's that easy to make.
So
we don't need this for this, but I wanted to show that off because I think like in geometry, that could be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got my guy here. That's all I have to do. I just put in the picture and I scroll down, and now I'm going to go like this. Students will complete the graphic. Oh, see, there goes the shy typing again. They will complete the graphic and say their responses. Okay. And then I hit generate from question. Now this takes 30 or 45 seconds roughly. And the Snorkel AI is going to look at whatever the graphic is. And it doesn't matter, you guys. It'll do a math rep. It'll do a map of the Mediterranean. It'll do a number line. It'll do text. Whatever you put in there, it's going to analyze it. So look at this. Okay. Cut into halves, thirds, and fourths. Circle outline, square line. What is the name of the shape? How many angles? Look, it made all this rubric. And there's this edit button. So especially as a math teacher, if I say that formula is not right, I can go in and hit edit, and I can say, must do this, must do that. Now I hit assign. And this is the other cool thing, Dave, is guess what, you guys? I can use the same assignment every day. All I got to do is make a copy and change the number. So I'm going to hit assign. And then if you've just started up on Snorkel, make sure you pick guest login so kids can log in. I love the Snorkel coach because kids can ask the coach questions. We hit assign, and then you guys can hop in here real quick. So go to activity, and I'm going to hit share. And then I'll put this in the chat. You guys hop in there real quick, even if you're not a math fan, and see how fun it is to do something and get immediate feedback, even if it's not right.
Oh, go put that back up real quick.
Okay, here we go. I put it in the chat too, you guys.
One other little like a hack here for us as teachers. If you are using Google Classroom, use that little Google Classroom button up there. It will drop it into your classrooms as an assignment. Because what I end up finding is that if I have a kid missing or a kid needs to access that later, that they don't need the code then that you would have to be able to provide for them. It's always in the classroom.
So that link is persistent in Classroom.
Yeah.
And I think that would work for Canva as well. If you're in Canva, all you're going to do is you're going to copy this link, make an assignment, and drop that in. But Dave, thanks for pointing out that Google
that's made life so easy for me with kids. Like, hey, I didn't get that one finished. Can I finish that so I can get that practice in? And I'm like, what's the code? Oh my Lord, I have to go back and look through all of these.
Got to dig.
But now that it's in Google Classroom, they just got it.
Yep. So I'm seeing people dropping in there. And I love this button. They were we're so smart to add this, which is try as a student. So if you guys are stumped, all you got to do is this right here. Pick what's the shape. Dave, I'm feeling lazy. I'm going to go with square. And then I'm going to click here and I'm going to type what's the name? Square. Okay, how many angles, Dave? And I teach the kids to go back and forth between the pen and the typing because sometimes the pen is faster and sometimes typing is faster. So
Well,
on
then
this one where it says
when they
create
learn
rows
that
and
it doesn't matter
columns,
what it looks like, you know what I mean? Then
right?
they're okay with the pin. They worry about what
Yep.
it looks like otherwise.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask the kids to create 2 rows and 2 columns. So if I'm going to do 2 rows, I got to do this. And I'm going to switch colors for clarity. And then I'm going to do 2 columns. So I have columns going this way. And then I have rows going this way. And then cut into halves. This is setting up for, we're going to make these into fourths today. And this is some getting kids to think about the bigger picture of the math and not just the answer all the time, but what's the schema. And then I'm going to click on record screen and voice, and I'm going to go like this. Oh, and Dave, I love the disappearing laser. Today's shape is square. The name of the shape typed out is amazingly square. There are 4 angles. All 4 of the angles are right angles. There are 4 sides. They're all the same length. I've created 2 rows and 2 columns. The rows go this way and the columns go this way. There's only 1 square in my square, and I've cut it into fourths. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to tell you right now, my mic doesn't always work with the Zoom. So let's see if the mic works. But Virginia, hopefully you're seeing the flow here. Put in a graphic, ask the kids to draw, type, and speak their answers. It's fantastic. And Seth, I'm reading your chat. Oh my God. Seth is a very prolific chatter, Dave. And he says, the whiteboard recording sounds like number talks. Yeah, like imagine every day, Seth, is a number talk. Every assignment is a number talk. It's wild. And Virginia, I will just start with something really basic like this, because a part of the game is you need them to understand the tool. Like I used to teach film. You guys, you can't just say, let's green screen some lightsabers. The kids are going to say, that sounds great, but that's like 40 sub skills. The lighting alone is a sub skill. Then you've got the green screen and all that stuff. So look at this, Dave. With a college diploma, it gave me a 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
It says, let's see what the feedback says. Great job naming the square and counting its sides correctly. I see you made a 2x2 grid. That's a good choice. You drew lines to make fourths, but can you show me how to cut the shapes into halves and thirds as well? So this is one of those places where the rubric needs to get tweaked by the teacher, because I only did 1 and the AI was reading it as do all 3. So that's just a matter of just adjusting the rubric, but I've got this little guy right here, respond again, and I can hop back in. I can use the previous whiteboard, and I'm actually going to make the AI happy here, Dave. So I'm updating my drawing because I'm going to split this into thirds and halves as well. So I'm going to do halves this way. There's 1 half, there's the other half, and then I'm going to switch colors and I'm going to do thirds. And here's 1/3 here, 1/3 here, and 1/3 here. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go half. I've got 1 and 2. And to cut it into thirds, I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. And now I have halves and thirds. So that's how quick it is for kids to move from good to perfect. And I don't know how much the AI is going to love me drawing over it like that. But I just wanted you guys to see how agile, to see how quick that is. And so, yeah, back to Seth's point. What this does is embrace the kids in an expressive way, which helps within the problem solving process as a whole. So it's not a matter of getting the answer right as much as it is the process of going through the work. Because if you don't understand the process, and I think, Dave, you saw my thing I shared from Nick Saban, you can't focus on the outcome. You got to perfect the process. If the process is good, the outcome will be right. They all work together that way.
Yeah,
So look at that. It moved
yeah,
me up from a 2 to a 4.
nice.
And then look, I can see, I want to say this is not Go Guardian, you guys, but it gives you an idea of what's coming in from the kids. Marlene, I really like that labeling. Very nice. But imagine being able to see all the kids' work in real time. And then watch this one real quick, you guys. Virginia, you're going to love this. When I click on this little camera right here, and I don't even know if you've done this one yet, Dave,
I
I
have
can
not.
say, look at this. Great job. Oh, what is that? Is that a trapezoid or a rhombus? Very interesting. And I want you to think about doing this into halves, thirds, and fourths. It would be so cool if you would label these as well, but it looks really good. Now, watch this, Dave. They're going to get a video reply back from me.
Oh, nice.
I wish I had that during COVID.
Yeah.
So you don't need a
I
third
do that
party
same
tool.
thing. I do the same thing with that screen. I freeze my screen so they don't see it on the board, so they don't, well, their individual ones don't pop up. But I will
Mhm.
squat. I will go through and I'll just say, "Hey, Audra, look over here at the top left of your on your answer here, and da da da. What about this? Think about that." And then they're like, "Oh," and then they make their corrections and they redo their feedback, and so
Yeah, and then
I
that
can
that
jump in
feedback
and give them
doesn't happen
feedback that way.
tonight. The feedback does not happen tonight, and that is a massive change in the entire process. Because when the kids know they're getting feedback tonight, kids will put the day on Visa, is my terminology. They'll just turn it in, hoping to get a C. That is not perfect practice, and that over time is going to result in an incredibly broken visual for the kids on what the actual learning looks like. And so check this out, you guys. Oh, look at unclear partial labeling. I'm busting my own self. Audra only showed the fourths. This is the fantastic part where it gives you these insights on what the general problems are. And my friend Jeremiah Roosh, who's the math book author, says, I quit correcting kids and I started um, clarifying their misconceptions. And so, look, this isn't about right and wrong. This is about their misconceptions. And yes, Adita, they can give feedback on other work. And this is really cool, Adita. They can give feedback after they submit. So once they submit, they can see the other students' work. You can turn that on and off because sometimes that is a bad idea for certain classes. But yes, they can, in fact, give each other
And
feedback.
it'll do
So
that anonymously, right?
yes, and I think you can do it by name. Scott, you might share that in the chat. I'm not sure if the feedback is anonymous or all together. But
Yeah, it's
guys,
anonymous.
can I get a round of applause for Dave sharing his growth and all of this stuff? It's really cool. And I'm gonna share the slides with y'all right now. I'll put the link in the chat right here if you want these slides. And then there's Dave's email information if you want to touch base with him. I just want to say thanks, Dave. Your first ever presentation,
Yeah.
I consider a huge success. If you
I
guys want to
consider it a
give Dave
success
some
because I'm
feedback,
still breathing.
he's not dead yet.
No.
So yeah, and that's just snorkel is just fantastic, you guys, whatever subject you teach, because and one last thing I want to be really clear about. I mentioned this once, but it's a big deal. I'm not giving kids 40 questions anymore. I'm going to give them 2 or 3. And if they can't do those, I'm going to teach them up. And then tomorrow we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to start at a higher level and we're going to work our way forward very meticulously. There's no reason to give kids 40 problems or 30 problems. And Dave, remember at the beginning you said, without data, everybody has an opinion. Here's the thing. When I say you don't need to give kids 30 problems anymore, there's a bunch of math teachers that say, but they need automaticity. Yeah, but if they can do all 40 without me, they don't need 40. And if they can't do the 40, I'm just reinforcing that math is bad or not fun. So by being in a mode where you're doing 10 standards a day and it's allowing them for real-time feedback and then they can improve on their own pace and ask classmates for help. It really rescapes the learning mentality of the math classroom.
One other thing too, if and when you build your own slides to be able to do math reps, try to keep it like at 6 or fewer. Snorkel will
Mhm.
struggle with like a lot of questions. And then the other
Yeah.
thing is that, like John's saying, 6 questions, all with feedback and all with you having to verbally explain into the microphone what's going on. Those 6 are worth so much more than 40 questions with no feedback and no explanation.
Yep.
That explanation just solidifies what they're doing. And when they talk about it, it's like getting a second and a third rep. And so those 6
Yeah.
questions become 18.
Or said another way, the longer that they're not sure what to do, the higher the amygdala fear factor raises. And you guys, there's not many in here because we're just doing a demo, but Dave, you use this board, I think, pretty actively, right? You can see
Well,
when you go to your classes and click on progress right here,
yeah,
boom, it'll start building you a chart of who's passed what. And if they're all threes every day, everybody's cooking. So it's a really, really clean and easy to use interface. If you and Scott put a link in here for a 6-month trial. The Snorkel guys are really cool. If your school district wants one, drop me a line and I'll connect you. They'll give you a 6-month trial, no worries. And in 6 months, if you don't love it, then you don't need a trial anymore. Yeah, in Virginia. Yes, totally true. Imagine handing back your weekend of grading to kids and they throw it away. Like, this
yeah.
just gets rid of that whole deal. You don't need a rolly cart anymore to be a teacher. When you leave, you're done for the day.
One last hack that I have for you is that, like, if kids submit and they only got a 2 and then they want to try to open it later, if they've shut that window, sometimes if they're in guest mode, they don't have access to their previous work.
Mm.
And so what I will do for them is I will open it on mine and I'll take a screenshot and then I'll print it out on the printer for them. And then they've got their paper copy that they can make adjustments to, and then take the picture back in and put their picture
Oh, that's
back in
cool.
through, so that they don't have to redo all of the problems over and over and over again.
Yeah, because that gets old
When they, yeah,
for
and that's when
everybody.
they want to shut down. They're like, I've got 5 of the 6 right. I don't want to do all the other 5 again.
Yep.
That helps them keep on keeping on.
Yeah, because I mean, in the end, it's just a matter of like not being demoralizing. Math is intimidating enough for kids, but then when we do certain things, it's just so demoralizing for people, and that gets really old. Okay, Dave, you survived. You're
Yep.
wrapped up.
Thank you all.
And
If you need anything, yeah, just reach out. Telford at stanwood.wednet.edu.